Here is the message about Judah and Jerusalem that was revealed to Isaiah son of Amoz during the time when Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah reigned over Judah. Listen, O heavens, pay attention, O earth, for Yahweh speaks. I raised children, I brought them up, but they have rebelled against me. An ox recognizes its owner, a donkey recognizes where its owner puts its food, but Israel does not recognize me, my people do not understand. Beware, sinful nation, the people weighed down by evil deeds. They are offspring who do wrong, children who do wicked things. They have abandoned Yahweh and rejected the Holy One of Israel. They are alienated from him. Why do you insist on being battered? Why do you continue to rebel? Your head has a massive wound, your whole heart is sick. From the soles of your feet to your head, there is no spot that is unharmed. There are only bruises, cuts, and open wounds. They have not been cleansed or bandaged, nor have they been treated with olive oil. Your land is devastated, your cities burned with fire. Right before your eyes, your crops are being destroyed by foreign invaders. They leave behind devastation and destruction. Daughter Zion is left isolated, like a hut in a vineyard or a shelter in a cucumber field. She is a besieged city. If Yahweh of heaven's armies had not left us a few survivors, we would have quickly been like Sodom. We would have become like Gomorrah. Listen to Yahweh's message. You leaders of Sodom, pay attention to our God's rebuke, people of Gomorrah. Of what importance to me are your many sacrifices, says Yahweh. I have had my fill of burnt sacrifices, of rams and the fat from steers. The blood of bulls, lambs, and goats I do not want. When you enter my presence, do you actually think I want this? Animals trampling on my courtyards. Do not bring any more meaningless offerings. I consider your incense detestable. You observe new moon festivals, Sabbaths, and convocations, but I cannot tolerate sin-stained celebrations. I hate your new moon festivals and assemblies. They are a burden that I am tired of carrying. When you spread out your hands in prayer, I look the other way. When you offer your many prayers, I do not listen, because your hands are covered with blood. Wash, cleanse yourselves. Remove your sinful deeds from my sight. Stop sinning. Learn to do what is right. Promote justice. Give the oppressed reason to celebrate. Take up the cause of the orphan. Defend the rights of the widow. Come, let's consider your options, says Yahweh. Though your sins have stained you like the color red, you can become white like snow. Though they are as easy to see as the color scarlet, you can become white like wool. If you have a willing attitude and obey, then you will again eat the good crops of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword. Know for certain that Yahweh has spoken. How tragic that the once faithful city has become a prostitute. She was once a center of justice. Fairness resided in her. But now only murderers. Your silver has become scum. Your beer is diluted with water. Your officials are rebels. They associate with thieves. All of them love bribery and look for payoffs. They do not take up the cause of the orphan or defend the rights of the widow. Therefore, Yahweh of heaven's armies, the powerful one of Israel, says this: I will seek vengeance against my adversaries. I will take revenge against my enemies. I will attack you. I will purify your metal with flux. I will remove all your slag. I will re-establish honest judges as in former times, wise advisors as in earlier days. Then you will be called the just city, faithful town. Zion will be freed by justice, and her returnees by righteousness. All rebellious sinners will be shattered. Those who abandon Yahweh will perish. Indeed, they will be ashamed of the sacred trees you find so desirable. You will be embarrassed because of the sacred orchards where you choose to worship. For you will be like a tree whose leaves wither, like an orchard that is unwatered. The powerful will be like a thread of yarn, their deeds like a spark. Both will burn together, and no one will put out the fire. Here is the message about Judah and Jerusalem that was revealed to Isaiah son of Amoz. In future days, the mountain of Yahweh's temple will endure as the most important of mountains, and will be the most prominent of hills. All the nations will stream to it. Many peoples will come and say, "Come, let us go up to Yahweh's mountain, to the temple of the God of Jacob, so he can teach us his requirements, and we can follow his standards." For Zion will be the center for moral instruction. Yahweh's message will issue from Jerusalem. He will judge disputes between nations. He will settle cases for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will not take up the sword against other nations, and they will no longer train for war. O descendants of Jacob, come, let us walk in Yahweh's guiding light. Indeed, O Yahweh, you have abandoned your people, the descendants of Jacob. For diviners from the east are everywhere. They consult omen readers like the Philistines do. Plenty of foreigners are around. Their land is full of gold and silver. There is no end to their wealth. Their land is full of horses. There is no end to their chariots. Their land is full of worthless idols. They worship the product of their own hands, what their own fingers have fashioned. Men bow down to them in homage. They lie flat on the ground in worship. Don't spare them. Go up into the rocky cliffs, hide in the ground. Get away from the dreadful judgment of Yahweh, from his royal splendor. Proud men will be brought low. Arrogant men will be humiliated. Yahweh alone will be exalted in that day. Indeed, Yahweh of heaven's armies has planned a day of judgment for all the high and mighty. For all who are proud, they will be humiliated. For all the cedars of Lebanon that are so high and mighty. For all the oaks of Bashan, for all the tall mountains, for all the high hills, for every high tower, for every fortified wall, for all the large ships, for all the impressive ships. Proud men will be humiliated, arrogant men will be brought low. Yahweh alone will be exalted in that day. The worthless idols will be completely eliminated. They will go into caves in the rocky cliffs and into holes in the ground, trying to escape the dreadful judgment of Yahweh and his royal splendor, when he rises up to terrify the earth. At that time, men will throw their silver and gold idols, which they made for themselves to worship, into the caves where rodents and bats live, so they themselves can go into the crevices of the rocky cliffs and the openings under the rocky overhangs, trying to escape the dreadful judgment of Yahweh and his royal splendor, when he rises up to terrify the earth. Stop trusting in human beings, whose life's breath is in their nostrils, for why should they be given special consideration? Look, Yahweh of heaven's armies is about to remove from Jerusalem and Judah every source of security, including all the food and water, the mighty men and warriors, judges and prophets, omen readers and leaders, captains of groups of 50, the respected citizens, advisors, and those skilled in magical arts, and those who know incantations. Yahweh says, I will make youths their officials. Malicious young men will rule over them. The people will treat each other harshly. Men will oppose each other. Neighbors will fight. Youths will proudly defy the elderly, and riffraff will challenge those who were once respected. Indeed, a man will grab his brother right in his father's house and say, You own a coat. You be our leader. This heap of ruins will be under your control. At that time, the brother will shout, I am no doctor. I have no food or coat in my house. Don't make me a leader of the people. Jerusalem certainly stumbles. Judah falls, for their words and their actions offend Yahweh. They rebel against his royal authority. The look on their faces testifies to their guilt. Like the people of Sodom, they openly boast of their sin. Woe to them, for they bring disaster on themselves. Tell the innocent it will go well with them, for they will be rewarded for what they have done. Woe to the wicked sinners, for they will get exactly what they deserve. Oppressors treat my people cruelly, creditors rule over them. My people, your leaders mislead you. They give you confusing directions. Yahweh takes his position to judge. He stands up to pass sentence on his people. Yahweh comes to pronounce judgment on the leaders of his people and their officials. He says, It is you who have ruined the vineyard. You have stashed in your houses what you have stolen from the poor. Why do you crush my people and grind the faces of the poor? Yahweh of heaven's armies has spoken. Yahweh says, "The women of Zion are proud. They walk with their heads high and flirt with their eyes. They skip along, and the jewelry on their ankles jingles. So Yahweh will afflict the foreheads of Zion's women with skin diseases. Yahweh will make the front of their heads bald. At that time, Yahweh will remove their beautiful ankle jewelry, neck ornaments, crescent-shaped ornaments, earrings, bracelets, veils, headdresses, ankle ornaments, sashes, sachets, amulets, rings, nose rings, festive dresses, robes, shawls, purses, garments, vests, head coverings, and gowns. A putrid stench will replace the smell of spices, a rope will replace a belt, baldness will replace braided locks of hair, a sackcloth garment will replace a fine robe, and a prisoner's brand will replace beauty. Your men will fall by the sword, your strong men will die in battle. Her gates will mourn and lament. Deprived of her people, she will sit on the ground. 7 women will grab hold of one man at that time. They will say, "We will provide our own food, we will provide our own clothes, but let us belong to you. Take away our shame." At that time, the crops given by Yahweh will bring admiration and honor. The produce of the land will be a source of pride and delight to those who remain in Israel. Those remaining in Zion, those left in Jerusalem, will be called holy, all in Jerusalem who are destined to live. At that time, Yahweh will wash the excrement from Zion's women. He will rinse the bloodstains from Jerusalem's midst as he comes to judge and to bring devastation. Then Yahweh will create over all Mount Zion and over its convocations a cloud and smoke by day and a bright flame of fire by night. Indeed, a canopy will accompany Yahweh's glorious presence. By day it will be a shelter to provide shade from the heat, as well as safety and protection from the heavy downpour. I will sing to my love, a song to my lover about his vineyard. My love had a vineyard on a fertile hill. He built a hedge around it, removed its stones, and planted a vine. He built a tower in the middle of it and constructed a winepress. He waited for it to produce edible grapes, but it produced sour ones instead. So now, residents of Jerusalem, people of Judah, you decide between me and my vineyard. What more can I do for my vineyard beyond what I have already done? When I waited for it to produce edible grapes, why did it produce sour ones instead? Now I will inform you what I am about to do to my vineyard. I will remove its hedge and turn it into pasture. I will break its wall and allow animals to graze there. I will make it a wasteland. No one will prune its vines or hoe its ground, and thorns and briars will grow there. I will order the clouds not to drop any rain on it. Indeed, Israel is the vineyard of Yahweh of heaven's armies. The people of Judah are the cultivated place in which he took delight. He waited for justice, but look what he got. Disobedience. He waited for fairness, but look what he got. Cries for help. Beware those who accumulate houses, who also accumulate field after field until there is no land left, and you are the only landowners remaining within the land. Yahweh of heaven's armies told me this. Many houses will certainly become desolate. Large, impressive houses will have no one living in them. Indeed, a large vineyard will produce just a few gallons, and enough seed to yield several bushels will produce less than a bushel. Beware those who get up early to drink beer, those who keep drinking long after dark until they are intoxicated with wine. They have stringed instruments, tambourines, flutes, and wine at their parties. So they do not recognize what Yahweh is doing. They do not perceive what he is bringing about. Therefore, my people will be deported because of their lack of understanding. Their leaders will have nothing to eat. Their masses will have nothing to drink. So death will open up its throat and open wide its mouth. Zion's dignitaries and masses will descend into it, including those who revel and celebrate within her. Men will be humiliated. They will be brought low. The proud will be brought low. Yahweh of heaven's armies will be exalted when he punishes. The holy God's authority will be recognized when he judges. Lambs will graze as if in their pastures. Amid the ruins, the rich sojourners will graze. Beware, those who pull evil along using cords of emptiness are as good as dead, who pull sin as with cart ropes. They say, let him hurry, let him act quickly so we can see. Let the plan of the Holy One of Israel take shape and come to pass, then we will know it. Beware those who call evil good and good evil, who turn darkness into light and light into darkness, who turn bitter into sweet and sweet into bitter. Beware those who think they are wise, those who think they possess understanding. Beware those who are champions at drinking, who display great courage when mixing strong drinks. They pronounce the guilty innocent for a payoff. They ignore the just cause of the innocent. Therefore, as flaming fire devours straw, and dry grass disintegrates in the flames, so their root will rot, and their flower will blow away like dust. For they have rejected the law of Yahweh, of heaven's armies. They have spurned the commands of the Holy One of Israel. So Yahweh is furious with his people. He lifts his hand and strikes them. The mountains shake, and corpses lie like manure in the middle of the streets. Despite all this, his anger does not subside, and his hand is ready to strike again. He lifts a signal flag for a distant nation. He whistles for it to come from the far regions of the earth. Look, they come quickly and swiftly. None tire or stumble. They don't stop to nap or sleep. They don't loosen their belts or unstrap their sandals to rest. Their arrows are sharpened, and all their bows are prepared. The hooves of their horses are hard as flint, and their chariot wheels are like a windstorm. Their roar is like a lion's. They roar like young lions. They growl and seize their prey. They drag it away, and no one can come to the rescue. At that time they will growl over their prey. It will sound like sea waves crashing against rocks. One will look out over the land and see the darkness of disaster. Clouds will turn the light into darkness. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw Yahweh seated on a high, elevated throne. The hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphs stood over him. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 wings, they covered their faces. With 2, they covered their feet, and they used the remaining 2 to fly. They called out to one another, Holy, holy, holy is Yahweh of heaven's armies. His majestic splendor fills the entire earth. The sound of their voices shook the door frames, and the temple was filled with smoke. I said, Woe to me! I am destroyed, for my lips are contaminated by sin, and I live among people whose lips are contaminated by sin. My eyes have seen the King, Yahweh of heaven's armies. But then one of the seraphs flew toward me. In his hand was a hot coal he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, Look, this coal has touched your lips. Your evil is removed. Your sin is forgiven. I heard the voice of Yahweh say, Whom will I send? Who will go on our behalf? I answered, Here I am, send me. He said, Go and tell these people, listen continually, but don't understand. Look continually, but don't perceive. Make the hearts of these people calloused. Make their ears deaf and their eyes blind. Otherwise they might see with their eyes and hear with their ears. Their hearts might understand, and they might repent and be healed. I replied, How long, Yahweh? He said, Until cities are in ruins and unpopulated, and houses are uninhabited, and the land is ruined and devastated, and Yahweh has sent the people off to a distant place, and the very heart of the land is completely abandoned. Even if only 1/10 of the people remain in the land, it will again be destroyed, like one of the large sacred trees, or an Asherah pole, when a sacred pillar on a high place is thrown down. That sacred pillar symbolizes the special chosen family. During the reign of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, king of Judah, King Rezin of Syria, and King Pekah, son of Remaliah of Israel, marched up to Jerusalem to do battle, but they were unable to prevail against it. It was reported to the family of David, Syria has allied with Ephraim. They and their people were emotionally shaken, just as the trees of the forest shake before the wind. So Yahweh told Isaiah, Go out with your son Shear-Jashub and meet Ahaz at the end of the conduit of the upper pool that is located on the road to the field where they wash and dry cloth. Tell him, make sure you stay calm. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated by these two stubs of smoking logs or by the raging anger of Rezin, Syria, and the son of Remaliah. Syria has plotted with Ephraim and the son of Remaliah to bring about your demise. They say, let's attack Judah, terrorize it, and conquer it. Then we'll set up the son of Tabeel as its king. For this reason, the Lord Yahweh says, it will not take place, it will not happen. For Syria's leader is Damascus, and the leader of Damascus is Rezin. Within 65 years, Ephraim will no longer exist as a nation. Ephraim's leader is Samaria, and Samaria's leader is the son of Remaliah. If your faith does not remain firm, then you will not remain secure. Yahweh again spoke to Ahaz. Ask for a confirming sign from Yahweh your God. You can even ask for something miraculous. But Ahaz responded, I don't want to ask. I don't want to put Yahweh to a test. So Isaiah replied, pay attention, family of David. Do you consider it too insignificant to try the patience of men? Is that why you are also trying the patience of my God? For this reason, Yahweh himself will give you a confirming sign. Look, this young woman is about to conceive and will give birth to a son. You, young woman, will name him Immanuel. He will eat sour milk and honey, which will help him know how to reject evil and choose what is right. Here is why this will be so. Before the child knows how to reject evil and choose what is right, the land whose two kings you fear will be desolate. Yahweh will bring on you, your people, and your father's family a time unlike any since Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. At that time, Yahweh will whistle for flies from the distant streams of Egypt and for bees from the land of Assyria. All of them will come and make their home in the ravines between the cliffs and in the crevices of the cliffs, in all the thorn bushes, and in all the watering holes. At that time, Yahweh will use a razor hired from the banks of the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, to shave the hair off the head and private parts. It will also shave off the beard. At that time, a man will keep alive a young cow from the herd and a couple of goats. From the abundance of milk they produce, he will have sour milk for his meals. Indeed, everyone left in the heart of the land will eat sour milk and honey. At that time, every place where there had been 1,000 vines worth 1,000 silver shekels will be overrun with thorns and briars. With bow and arrow people will hunt there, for the whole land will be covered with thorns and briars. They will stay away from all the hills that were cultivated for fear of the thorns and briars. Cattle will graze there, and sheep will trample on them. Yahweh told me, take a large tablet and inscribe these words on it with an ordinary stylus. Maher-Shalal-Hash-Baz. Then I will summon as my reliable witnesses Uriah the priest and Zechariah son of Jeberechiah. I then approached the prophetess for marital relations. She conceived and gave birth to a son. Yahweh told me, name him Maher-Shalal-Hash-Baz, for before the child knows how to cry out, my father, or my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the plunder of Samaria will be carried off by the king of Assyria. Yahweh spoke to me again. These people have rejected the gently flowing waters of Shiloh and melt in fear over Rezin and the son of Remaliah. So look, Yahweh is bringing up against them the turbulent and mighty waters of the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, and all his majestic power. It will reach flood stage and overflow its banks. It will spill into Judah, flooding and engulfing as it reaches to the necks of its victims. He will spread his wings out over your entire land, O Immanuel. You will be broken, O nations. You will be shattered. Pay attention, all you distant lands of the earth. Get ready for battle, and you will be shattered. Get ready for battle, and you will be shattered. Devise your strategy, but it will be thwarted. Issue your orders, but they will not be executed. For God is with us. Indeed, this is what Yahweh told me quite forcefully. He warned me not to act like these people. Do not say, conspiracy, every time these people say the word. Don't be afraid of what scares them. Don't be terrified. You must recognize the authority of Yahweh of heaven's armies. He is the one you must respect. He is the one you must fear. He will become a sanctuary, but a stone that makes a person trip, and a rock that makes one stumble, to the two houses of Israel. He will become a trap and a snare to the residents of Jerusalem. Many will stumble over the stone and the rock, and will fall and be seriously injured, and will be ensnared and captured. Tie up the scroll as legal evidence, seal the official record of God's instructions, and give it to my followers. I will wait patiently for Yahweh, who has rejected the family of Jacob. I will wait for him. Look, I and the sons whom Yahweh has given me are reminders and object lessons in Israel, sent from Yahweh of heaven's armies, who lives on Mount Zion. They will say to you, seek oracles at the pits used to conjure up underworld spirits from the magicians who chirp and mutter incantations. Should people not seek oracles from their gods by asking the dead about the destiny of the living? Then you must recall Yahweh's instructions and the prophetic testimony of what would happen. Certainly they say such things because their minds are spiritually darkened. They will pass through the land destitute and starving. Their hunger will make them angry, and they will curse their king and their God as they look upward. When one looks out over the land, he sees distress and darkness, gloom and anxiety, darkness and people forced from the land. The gloom will be dispelled for those who were anxious. In earlier times, he humiliated the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but now he brings honor to the way of the sea, the region beyond the Jordan, and Galilee of the nations. The people walking in darkness see a bright light. Light shines on those who live in a land of deep darkness. You have enlarged the nation. You give them great joy. They rejoice in your presence as harvesters rejoice, as warriors celebrate when they divide up the plunder. For their oppressive yoke and the club that strikes their shoulders, the cudgel the oppressor uses on them, you have shattered, as in the day of Midian's defeat. Indeed, every boot that marches and shakes the earth, and every garment dragged through blood is used as fuel for the fire. For a child has been born to us, a son has been given to us. He shoulders responsibility and is called Wonderful Advisor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His dominion will be vast, and he will bring immeasurable prosperity. He will rule on David's throne and over David's kingdom, establishing it and strengthening it by promoting justice and fairness from this time forward and forevermore. The zeal of Yahweh of heaven's armies will accomplish this. Yahweh decreed judgment on Jacob, and it fell on Israel. All the people were aware of it, the people of Ephraim and those living in Samaria. Yet with pride and an arrogant attitude, they said, the bricks have fallen, but we will rebuild with chiseled stone. The sycamore fig trees have been cut down, but we will replace them with cedars. Then Yahweh provoked their adversaries to attack them. He stirred up their enemies, Syria from the east and the Philistines from the west. They gobbled up Israelite territory. Despite all this, his anger does not subside, and his hand is ready to strike again. The people did not return to the one who struck them. They did not seek reconciliation with Yahweh of heaven's armies. So Yahweh cut off Israel's head and tail, both the shoots and stalk in one day. The leaders and the highly respected people are the head. The prophets who teach lies are the tail. The leaders of this nation were misleading people, and the people being led were destroyed. So Yahweh was not pleased with their young men. He took no pity on their orphans and widows. For the whole nation was godless and did wicked things. Every mouth was speaking disgraceful words. Despite all this, his anger does not subside, and his hand is ready to strike again. For evil burned like a fire. It consumed thorns and briars. It burned up the thickets of the forest, and they went up in smoke. Because of the anger of Yahweh of heaven's armies, the land was scorched, and the people became fuel for the fire. People had no compassion on one another. They devoured on the right, but were still hungry. They ate on the left, but were not satisfied. People even ate the flesh of their own arm. Manasseh fought against Ephraim, and Ephraim against Manasseh. Together they fought against Judah. Despite all this, his anger does not subside, and his hand is ready to strike again. Beware those who enact unjust policies, those who are always instituting unfair regulations, to keep the poor from getting fair treatment, and to deprive the oppressed among my people of justice, so they can steal what widows own and loot what belongs to orphans. What will you do on Judgment Day when destruction arrives from a distant place? To whom will you run for help? Where will you leave your wealth? You will have no place to go except to kneel with the prisoners or to fall among those who have been killed. Despite all this, his anger does not subside, and his hand is ready to strike again. Beware, Assyria, the club I use to vent my anger, a cudgel with which I angrily punish. I sent him against a godless nation. I ordered him to attack the people with whom I was angry, to take plunder and to carry away loot, to trample them down like dirt in the streets. But he does not agree with this. His mind does not reason this way, for his goal is to destroy and to eliminate many nations. Indeed, he says, are not my officials all kings? Is not Calneh like Carchemish, Hamath like Arpad, Samaria like Damascus? I overpowered kingdoms ruled by idols, whose carved images were more impressive than Jerusalem's or Samaria's. As I have done to Samaria and its idols, so I will do to Jerusalem and its idols. But when Yahweh finishes judging Mount Zion and Jerusalem, then he will punish the king of Assyria for what he has proudly planned and for the arrogant attitude he displays. For he says, by my strong hand I have accomplished this, by my strategy that I devised. I invaded the territory of nations and looted their storehouses. Like a mighty conqueror, I brought down rulers. My hand discovered the wealth of the nations, as if it were in a nest. As one gathers up abandoned eggs, I gathered up the whole earth. There was no wing flapping or open mouth chirping. Does an axe exalt itself over the one who wields it, or a saw magnify itself over the one who cuts with it? As if a scepter should brandish the one who raises it, or a staff should lift up what is not made of wood. For this reason, Yahweh of heaven's armies will make his healthy ones emaciated. His majestic glory will go up in smoke. The light of Israel will become a fire. Their Holy One will become a flame. It will burn and consume the Assyrian king's briars and his thorns in one day. The splendor of his forest and his orchard will be completely destroyed, as when a sick man's life ebbs away. There will be so few trees left in his forest, a child will be able to count them. At that time, those left in Israel, those who remain of the family of Jacob, will no longer rely on a foreign leader that abuses them. Instead, they will truly rely on Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. A remnant will come back, a remnant of Jacob, to the mighty God. For though your people Israel are as numerous as the sand on the seashore, only a remnant will come back. Destruction has been decreed. Just punishment is about to engulf you. Yahweh of heaven's armies is certainly ready to carry out the decreed destruction throughout the land. So here is what Yahweh of heaven's armies says. My people who live in Zion, do not be afraid of Assyria, even though they beat you with a club and lift their cudgel against you as Egypt did. For very soon my fury will subside, and my anger will be directed toward their destruction. Yahweh of heaven's armies is about to beat them with a whip, similar to the way he struck down Midian at the rock of Oreb. He will use his staff against the sea, lifting it up as he did in Egypt. At that time, Yahweh will remove their burden from your shoulders and their yoke from your neck. The yoke will be taken off because your neck will be too large. They attacked Ayath, moved through Migron, depositing their supplies at Michmash. They went through the pass, spent the night at Geba. Ramah trembled, Gibeah of Saul ran away. Shout out, daughter of Gallim. Pay attention, Lisha. Answer her, Anathoth. Madmenah flees, the residents of Gebum have hidden. This very day, standing in Nob, they shake their fist at daughter Zion's mountain, at the hill of Jerusalem. Look, Yahweh of heaven's armies is ready to cut off the branches with terrifying power. The tallest trees will be cut down, the loftiest ones will be brought low. The thickets of the forest will be chopped down with an axe, and mighty Lebanon will fall. A shoot will grow out of Jesse's rootstock, a bud will sprout from his roots. Yahweh's spirit will rest on him, a spirit that gives extraordinary wisdom, a spirit that provides the ability to execute plans, a spirit that produces absolute loyalty to Yahweh. He will take delight in obeying Yahweh. He will not judge by mere appearances or make decisions on the basis of hearsay. He will treat the poor fairly and make right decisions for the downtrodden of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth and order the wicked to be executed. Justice will be like a belt around his waist. Integrity will be like a belt around his hips. A wolf will reside with a lamb, and a leopard will lie down with a young goat. An ox and a young lion will graze together as a small child leads them along. A cow and a bear will graze together. Their young will lie down together. A lion, like an ox, will eat straw. A baby will play over the hole of a snake. Over the nest of a serpent, an infant will put his hand. They will no longer injure or destroy on my entire royal mountain. For there will be universal submission to Yahweh's sovereignty, just as the waters completely cover the sea. At that time, a root from Jesse will stand like a signal flag for the nations. Nations will look to him for guidance, and his residence will be majestic. At that time, Yahweh will again lift his hand to reclaim the remnant of his people from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and the seacoasts. He will lift a signal flag for the nations. He will gather Israel's dispersed people and assemble Judah's scattered people from the four corners of the earth. Ephraim's jealousy will end, and Judah's hostility will be eliminated. Ephraim will no longer be jealous of Judah, and Judah will no longer be hostile toward Ephraim. They will swoop down on the Philistine hills to the west. Together they will loot the people of the east. They will take over Edom and Moab, and the Ammonites will be their subjects. Yahweh will divide the gulf of the Egyptian sea. He will wave his hand over the Euphrates River and send a strong wind. He will turn it into 7 dried-up streams and enable them to walk across in their sandals. There will be a highway leading out of Assyria for the remnant of his people, just as there was for Israel when they went up from the land of Egypt. At that time you will say, I praise you, O Yahweh, for even though you were angry with me, your anger subsided, and you consoled me. Look, God is my deliverer. I will trust in him and not fear. For Yahweh gives me strength and protects me. He has become my deliverer. Joyfully you will draw water from the springs of deliverance. At that time you will say, Praise Yahweh. Ask him for help. Publicize his mighty acts among the nations. Make it known that he is unique. Sing to Yahweh, for he has done magnificent things. Let this be known throughout the earth. Cry out and shout for joy, O citizens of Zion, for the Holy One of Israel acts mightily among you. This is an oracle about Babylon that Isaiah, son of Amoz, saw. On a bare hill, raise a signal flag. Shout to them, wave your hand, so they might enter the gates of the princes. I have given orders to my chosen soldiers. I have summoned the warriors, through whom I will vent my anger, my boasting, arrogant ones. There is a loud noise on the mountains. It sounds like a large army. There is great commotion among the kingdoms. Nations are being assembled. Yahweh of heaven's armies is mustering forces for battle. They come from a distant land, from the horizon. It is Yahweh, with his instruments of judgment, coming to destroy the whole earth. Wail, for Yahweh's day of judgment is near. It comes with all the destructive power of the Sovereign One. For this reason, all hands hang limp. Every human heart loses its courage. They panic. Cramps and pains seize hold of them like those of a woman who is straining to give birth. They look at one another in astonishment. Their faces are flushed red. Look, Yahweh's day of judgment is coming. It is a day of cruelty and savage, raging anger, destroying the earth and annihilating its sinners. Indeed, the stars in the sky and their constellations no longer give out their light. The sun is darkened as soon as it rises, and the moon does not shine. I will punish the world for its evil, and wicked people for their sin. I will put an end to the pride of the insolent. I will bring down the arrogance of tyrants. I will make human beings more scarce than pure gold, and people more scarce than gold from Ophir. So I will shake the heavens, and the earth will shake loose from its foundation, because of the fury of Yahweh of heaven's armies in the day he vents his raging anger. Like a frightened gazelle or a sheep with no shepherd, each will turn toward home, each will run to his homeland. Everyone who is caught will be stabbed, everyone who is seized will die by the sword. Their children will be smashed to pieces before their very eyes. Their houses will be looted and their wives raped. Look, I am stirring up the Medes to attack them. They are not concerned about silver, nor are they interested in gold. Their arrows will cut young men to ribbons. They have no compassion on a person's offspring. They will not look with pity on children. Babylon, the most admired of kingdoms, the Chaldeans' source of honor and pride, will be destroyed by God just as Sodom and Gomorrah were. No one will live there again. No one will ever reside there again. No Bedouin will camp there. No shepherds will rest their flocks there. Wild animals will rest there. The ruined houses will be full of hyenas. Ostriches will live there. Wild goats will skip among the ruins. Wild dogs will yip in her ruined fortresses. Jackals will yelp in the once splendid palaces. Her time is almost up. Her days will not be prolonged. Yahweh will certainly have compassion on Jacob. He will again choose Israel as his special people and restore them to their land. Resident foreigners will join them and unite with the family of Jacob. Nations will take them and bring them back to their own place. Then the family of Israel will make foreigners their servants as they settle in Yahweh's land. They will make their captors captives and rule over the ones who oppressed them. When Yahweh gives you relief from your suffering and anxiety and from the hard labor that you were made to perform, you will taunt the king of Babylon with these words. Look how the oppressor has met his end. Hostility has ceased. Yahweh has broken the club of the wicked, the scepter of rulers. It furiously struck down nations with unceasing blows. It angrily ruled over nations, oppressing them without restraint. The whole earth rests and is quiet. They break into song. The evergreens also rejoice over your demise, as do the cedars of Lebanon, singing, Since you fell asleep, no woodsman comes up to chop us down. Sheol below is stirred up about you, ready to meet you when you arrive. It rouses the spirits of the dead for you, all the former leaders of the earth. It makes all the former kings of the nations rise from their thrones. All of them respond to you, saying, You too have become weak like us. You have become just like us. Your splendor has been brought down to Sheol, as well as the sound of your stringed instruments. You lie on a bed of maggots with a blanket of worms over you. Look how you have fallen from the sky, O shining one, son of the dawn. You have been cut down to the ground, O conqueror of the nations. You said to yourself, I will climb up to the sky. Above the stars of El, I will set up my throne. I will rule on the mountain of assembly, on the remote slopes of Zaphon. I will climb up to the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you were brought down to Sheol, to the remote slopes of the pit. Those who see you stare at you, they look at you carefully, thinking, Is this the man who shook the earth, the one who made kingdoms tremble? Is this the one who made the world like a wilderness, who ruined its cities and refused to free his prisoners so they could return home? As for all the kings of the nations, all of them lie down in splendor, each in his own tomb. But you have been thrown out of your grave like a shoot that is thrown away. You lie among the slain, among those who have been slashed by the sword, among those headed for the stones of the pit, as if you were a mangled corpse. You will not be buried with them, because you destroyed your land and killed your people. The offspring of the wicked will never be mentioned again. Prepare to execute his sons for the sins their ancestors have committed. They must not rise up and take possession of the earth or fill the surface of the world with cities. I will rise up against them, says Yahweh of heaven's armies. I will blot out all remembrance of Babylon and destroy all her people, including the offspring she produces, says Yahweh. I will turn her into a place that is overrun with wild animals and covered with pools of stagnant water. I will get rid of her, just as one sweeps away dirt with a broom, says Yahweh of heaven's armies. Yahweh of heaven's armies makes this solemn vow. Be sure of this. Just as I have intended, so it will be. Just as I have planned, it will happen. I will break Assyria in my land. I will trample them underfoot on my hills. Their yoke will be removed from my people. The burden will be lifted from their shoulders. This is the plan I have devised for the whole earth. My hand is ready to strike all the nations. Indeed, Yahweh of heaven's armies has a plan, and who can possibly frustrate it? His hand is ready to strike, and who can possibly stop it? This oracle came in the year that King Ahaz died. Don't be so happy, all you Philistines, just because the club that beat you has been broken. For a viper will grow out of the serpent's root, and its fruit will be a darting adder. The poor will graze in my pastures, the needy will rest securely. But I will kill your root by famine, it will put to death all your survivors. Wail, O city gate, cry out, O city, melt with fear, all you Philistines. For out of the north comes a cloud of smoke, and there are no stragglers in its ranks. How will they respond to the messengers of this nation? Indeed, Yahweh has made Zion secure. The oppressed among his people will find safety in her. This is an oracle about Moab. Indeed, in a night it is devastated. Ar of Moab is destroyed. Indeed, in a night it is devastated. Kir of Moab is destroyed. They went up to the temple. The people of Dibon went up to the high places to lament. Because of what happened to Nebo and Medeba, Moab wails. Every head is shaved bare, every beard is trimmed off. In their streets they wear sackcloth. On their roofs and in their town squares, all of them wail. They fall down weeping. The people of Heshbon and Elealeh cry out. Their voices are heard as far away as Jahaz. For this reason, Moab's soldiers shout in distress. Their courage wavers. My heart cries out because of Moab's plight, and for the fugitives stretched out as far as Zoar and Eglath-Shelishiyah. For they weep as they make their way up the ascent of Luhith. They loudly lament their demise on the road to Horonaim. For the waters of Nimrim are gone. The grass is dried up, the vegetation has disappeared, and there are no plants. For this reason, what they have made and stored up, they carry over the stream of the poplars. Indeed, the cries of distress echo throughout Moabite territory. Their wailing can be heard in Eglaim and Beer Elim. Indeed, the waters of Dimon are full of blood. Indeed, I will heap even more trouble on Dimon. A lion will attack the Moabite fugitives and the people left in the land. Send rams as tribute to the ruler of the land, from Selah in the wilderness to the hill of daughter Zion. At the fords of the Arnon, the Moabite women are like a bird that flies about when forced from its nest. Bring a plan, make a decision, provide some shade in the middle of the day. Hide the fugitives. Do not betray the one who tries to escape. Please let the Moabite fugitives live among you. Hide them from the destroyer. Certainly the one who applies pressure will cease. The destroyer will come to an end. Those who trample will disappear from the earth. Then a trustworthy king will be established. He will rule in a reliable manner. This one from David's family. He will be sure to make just decisions and will be experienced in executing justice. We have heard about Moab's pride, their great arrogance, their boasting, pride, and excess, but their boastful claims are empty. So Moab wails over its demise. They all wail. Completely devastated, they moan about what has happened to the raisin cakes of Kir Hareseth, for the fields of Heshbon are dried up, as well as the vines of Sibmah. The rulers of the nations trample all over its vines, which reached Jazer and spread to the wilderness. Their shoots spread out and cross the sea. So I weep along with Jazer over the vines of Sibmah. I will saturate you with my tears, Heshbon and Elealeh, for the conquering invaders shout triumphantly over your fruit and crops. Joy and happiness disappear from the orchards, and in the vineyards no one rejoices or shouts. No one treads out juice in the wine vats. I have brought the joyful shouts to an end. So my heart constantly sighs for Moab, like the strumming of a harp. My inner being sighs for Kir Hareseth. When the Moabites plead with all their might at their high places and enter their temples to pray, their prayers will be ineffective. This is the message Yahweh previously announced about Moab. Now Yahweh makes this announcement. Within exactly 3 years, Moab's splendor will disappear, along with all her many people. There will be only a few insignificant survivors left. This is an oracle about Damascus. Look, Damascus is no longer a city, it is a heap of ruins. The cities of Aroer are abandoned. They will be used for herds, which will lie down there in peace. Fortified cities will disappear from Ephraim, and Damascus will lose its kingdom. The survivors in Syria will end up like the splendor of the Israelites, says Yahweh of heaven's armies. At that time, Jacob's splendor will be greatly diminished, and he will become skin and bones. It will be as when one gathers the grain harvest, and his hand gleans the ear of grain. It will be like one gathering the ears of grain in the valley of Rephaim. There will be some left behind, as when an olive tree is beaten. 2 or 3 ripe olives remain toward the very top, 4 or 5 on its fruitful branches, says Yahweh, God of Israel. At that time, men will trust in their Creator. They will depend on the Holy One of Israel. They will no longer trust in the altars their hands made, or depend on the Asherah poles and incense altars their fingers made. At that time, their fortified cities will be like the abandoned summits of the Amorites, which they abandoned because of the Israelites. There will be desolation. For you ignore the God who rescues you. You pay no attention to your strong protector. So this is what happens. You cultivate beautiful plants and plant exotic vines. The day you begin cultivating, you do what you can to make it grow. The morning you begin planting, you do what you can to make it sprout. Yet the harvest will disappear in the day of disease and incurable pain. Beware, you many nations massing together, those who make a commotion as loud as the roaring of the sea's waves. Beware, you people making such an uproar, those who make an uproar as loud as the roaring of powerful waves. Though these people make an uproar as loud as the roaring of powerful waves, when he shouts at them, they will flee to a distant land, driven before the wind like dead weeds on the hills, or like dead thistles before a strong gale. In the evening there is sudden terror. By morning they vanish. This is the fate of those who try to plunder us, the destiny of those who try to loot us. Beware, land of buzzing wings, the one beyond the rivers of Cush that sends messengers by sea, who glide over the water's surface in boats made of papyrus. Go, you swift messengers, to a nation of tall, smooth-skinned people, to a people that are feared far and wide, to a nation strong and victorious, whose land rivers divide. All you who live in the world, who reside on the earth, you will see a signal flag raised on the mountains. You will hear a trumpet being blown. For this is what Yahweh has told me. I will wait and watch from my place, like scorching heat produced by the sunlight, like a cloud of mist in the heat of harvest. For before the harvest, when the bud has sprouted and the ripening fruit appears, he will cut off the unproductive shoots with pruning knives. He will prune the tendrils. They will all be left for the birds of the hills and the wild animals. The birds will eat them during the summer, and all the wild animals will eat them during the winter. At that time tribute will be brought to Yahweh of heaven's armies, by a people that are tall and smooth-skinned, a people that are feared far and wide, a nation strong and victorious, whose land rivers divide. The tribute will be brought to the place where Yahweh of heaven's armies has chosen to reside, on Mount Zion. This is an oracle about Egypt. Look, Yahweh rides on a swift-moving cloud and approaches Egypt. The idols of Egypt tremble before him. The Egyptians lose their courage. I will provoke civil strife in Egypt. Brothers will fight with one another, as will neighbors, cities, and kingdoms. The Egyptians will panic, and I will confuse their strategy. They will seek guidance from the idols and from the spirits of the dead, from the pits used to conjure up underworld spirits, and from the magicians. I will hand Egypt over to a harsh master. A powerful king will rule over them, says Yahweh of heaven's armies. The water of the sea will be dried up, and the river will dry up and be empty. The canals will stink. The streams of Egypt will trickle, and then dry up. The bulrushes and reeds will decay, along with the plants by the mouth of the river. All the cultivated land near the river will turn to dust and be blown away. The fishermen will mourn and lament. All those who cast a fishhook into the river, and those who spread out a net on the water's surface, will grieve. Those who make clothes from combed flax will be embarrassed. Those who weave will turn pale. Those who make cloth will be demoralized. All the hired workers will be depressed. The officials of Zoan are nothing but fools. Pharaoh's wise advisors give stupid advice. How dare you say to Pharaoh, I am one of the sages, one well-versed in the writings of the ancient kings. But where, oh where, are your wise men? Let them tell you, let them find out what Yahweh of heaven's armies has planned for Egypt. The officials of Zoan are fools, the officials of Memphis are misled. The rulers of her tribes lead Egypt astray. Yahweh has made them undiscerning. They lead Egypt astray in all she does, so that she is like a drunk sliding around in his own vomit. Egypt will not be able to do a thing, head or tail, shoots or stalk. At that time the Egyptians will be like women. They will tremble in fear, because Yahweh of heaven's armies brandishes his fist against them. The land of Judah will humiliate Egypt. Everyone who hears about Judah will be afraid because of what Yahweh of heaven's armies is planning to do to them. At that time, 5 cities in the land of Egypt will speak the language of Canaan and swear allegiance to Yahweh of heaven's armies. One will be called the City of the Sun. At that time there will be an altar for Yahweh in the middle of the land of Egypt, as well as a sacred pillar dedicated to Yahweh at its border. It will become a visual reminder in the land of Egypt of Yahweh of heaven's armies. When they cry out to Yahweh because of oppressors, he will send them a deliverer and defender who will rescue them. Yahweh will reveal himself to the Egyptians, and they will acknowledge Yahweh's authority at that time. They will present sacrifices and offerings. They will make vows to Yahweh and fulfill them. Yahweh will strike Egypt, striking and then healing them. They will turn to Yahweh, and he will listen to their prayers and heal them. At that time, there will be a highway from Egypt to Assyria. The Assyrians will visit Egypt, and the Egyptians will visit Assyria. The Egyptians and Assyrians will worship together. At that time, Israel will be the 3rd member of the group, along with Egypt and Assyria, and will be a recipient of blessing in the earth. Yahweh of heaven's armies will pronounce a blessing over the earth, saying, Blessed be my people Egypt and the work of my hands, Assyria and my special possession, Israel. Yahweh revealed the following message during the year in which King Sargon of Assyria sent his commanding general to Ashdod, and he fought against it and captured it. At that time, Yahweh announced through Isaiah, son of Amoz, Go, remove the sackcloth from your waist and take your sandals off your feet. He did as instructed and walked around in undergarments and barefoot. Later, Yahweh explained, In the same way that my servant Isaiah has walked around in undergarments and barefoot for the past 3 years, as an object lesson and omen pertaining to Egypt and Cush, so the king of Assyria will lead away the captives of Egypt and the exiles of Cush, both young and old. They will be in undergarments and barefoot, with the buttocks exposed. The Egyptians will be publicly humiliated. Those who put their hope in Cush and took pride in Egypt will be afraid and embarrassed. At that time, those who live on this coast will say, Look what has happened to our source of hope, to whom we fled for help, expecting to be rescued from the king of Assyria. How can we escape now? This is an oracle about the wilderness by the sea. Like strong winds blowing in the south, one invades from the wilderness, from a land that is feared. I have received a distressing message. The deceiver deceives, the destroyer destroys. Attack, you Elamites. Lay siege, you Medes. I will put an end to all the groaning. For this reason my stomach churns. Cramps overwhelm me like the contractions of a woman in labor. I am disturbed by what I hear, horrified by what I see. My heart palpitates. I shake in fear. The twilight I desired has brought me terror. Arrange the table, lay out the carpet, eat and drink. Get up, you officers, smear oil on the shields. For this is what Yahweh has told me. Go, post a guard. He must report what he sees. When he sees chariots, teams of horses, riders on donkeys, riders on camels, he must be alert, very alert. Then the guard cries out, On the watchtower, O Lord, I stand all day long. At my post I am stationed every night. Look what's coming. A charioteer, a team of horses. When questioned, he replies, Babylon has fallen, fallen. All the idols of her gods lie shattered on the ground. O my downtrodden people, crushed like stalks on the threshing floor, what I have heard from Yahweh, of heaven's armies, the God of Israel, I have reported to you. This is an oracle about Duma. Someone calls to me from Seir. Watchman, what is left of the night? Watchman, what is left of the night? The watchman replies, Morning is coming, but then night. If you want to ask, ask. Come back again. This is an oracle about Arabia. In the thicket of Arabia you spend the night, you Dedonite caravans. Bring out some water for the thirsty. You who live in the land of Tema, bring some food for the fugitives, for they flee from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from the battle-ready bow, and from the severity of the battle. For this is what Yahweh has told me. Within exactly 1 year, all the splendor of Kedar will come to an end. Just a handful of archers, the warriors of Kedar, will be left. Indeed, Yahweh God of Israel has spoken. This is an oracle about the valley of vision. What is the reason that all of you go up to the rooftops? The noisy city is full of raucous sounds. The town is filled with revelry. Your slain were not cut down by the sword. They did not die in battle. All your leaders ran away together. They fled to a distant place. All your refugees were captured together. They were captured without a single arrow being shot. So I say, don't look at me. I am weeping bitterly. Don't try to console me concerning the destruction of my defenseless people. For Yahweh of heaven's armies has planned a day of panic, defeat, and confusion. In the valley of vision, people shout and cry out to the hill. The Elamites picked up the quiver and came with chariots and horsemen. The men of Kir prepared the shield. Your very best valleys were full of chariots. Horsemen confidently took their positions at the gate. They removed the defenses of Judah. At that time, you looked for the weapons in the house of the forest. You saw the many breaks in the walls of the city of David. You stored up water in the lower pool. You counted the houses in Jerusalem and demolished houses so you could have material to reinforce the wall. You made a reservoir between the two walls for the water of the old pool, but you did not trust in the one who made it. You did not depend on the one who formed it long ago. At that time, Yahweh of heaven's armies called for weeping and mourning, for shaved heads and sackcloth. But look, there is outright celebration. You say, kill the ox and slaughter the sheep, eat meat and drink wine. Eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. Yahweh of heaven's armies told me this. Certainly this sin will not be forgiven as long as you live, says Yahweh of heaven's armies. This is what Yahweh of heaven's armies says. Go visit this administrator, Shebna, who supervises the palace, and tell him, what right do you have to be here? What relatives do you have buried here? Why do you chisel out a tomb for yourself here? He chisels out his burial site in an elevated place. He carves out his tomb on a cliff. Look, Yahweh will throw you far away, you mere man. He will wrap you up tightly. He will wind you up tightly into a ball and throw you into a wide, open land. There you will die, and there with you will be your impressive chariots, which bring disgrace to the house of your master. I will remove you from your office. You will be thrown down from your position. At that time I will summon my servant Eliakim, son of Hilkiah. I will put your robe on him, tie your belt around him, and transfer your authority to him. He will become a protector of the residents of Jerusalem and of the people of Judah. I will place the key to the house of David on his shoulder. When he opens the door, no one can close it. When he closes the door, no one can open it. I will fasten him like a peg into a solid place. He will bring honor and respect to his father's family. His father's family will gain increasing prominence because of him, including the offspring and the offshoots. All the small containers, including the bowls and all the jars, will hang from this peg. At that time, says Yahweh of heaven's armies, the peg fastened into a solid place will come loose. It will be cut off and fall, and the load hanging on it will be cut off. Indeed, Yahweh has spoken. This is an oracle about Tyre. Wail, you large ships, for the port is too devastated to enter. From the land of Cyprus, this news is announced to them. Lament, you residents of the coast, you merchants of Sidon who travel over the sea, whose agents sail over the deep waters. Grain from the Shihor region, crops grown near the Nile she receives. She is the trade center of the nations. Be ashamed, O Sidon, for the sea says this, O fortress of the sea. I have not gone into labor or given birth. I have not raised young men or brought up young women. When the news reaches Egypt, they will be shaken by what has happened to Tyre. Travel to Tarshish. Wail, you residents of the coast. Is this really your boisterous city, whose origins are in the distant past, and whose feet led her to a distant land to reside? Who planned this for royal Tyre, whose merchants are princes, whose traders are the dignitaries of the earth? Yahweh of heaven's armies planned it, to dishonor the pride that comes from all her beauty, to humiliate all the dignitaries of the earth. Daughter Tarshish, travel back to your land. As one crosses the Nile, there is no longer any marketplace in Tyre. Yahweh stretched out his hand over the sea. He shook kingdoms. He gave the order to destroy Canaan's fortresses. He said, "You will no longer celebrate, oppressed virgin daughter Sidon. Get up, travel to Cyprus, but you will find no relief there. Look at the land of the Chaldeans, these people who have lost their identity. The Assyrians have made it a home for wild animals. They erected their siege towers, demolished its fortresses, and turned it into a heap of ruins. Wail, you large ships, for your fortress is destroyed." At that time, Tyre will be forgotten for 70 years, the typical lifespan of a king. At the end of 70 years, Tyre will try to attract attention again, like the prostitute in the popular song. Take the harp, go through the city, forgotten prostitute. Play it well, play lots of songs, so you'll be noticed. At the end of 70 years, Yahweh will revive Tyre. She will start making money again by selling her services to all the earth's kingdoms. Her profits and earnings will be set apart for Yahweh. They will not be stored up or accumulated, for her profits will be given to those who live in Yahweh's presence and will be used to purchase large quantities of food and beautiful clothes. Look, Yahweh is ready to devastate the earth and leave it in ruins. He will mar its surface and scatter its inhabitants. Everyone will suffer, the priest as well as the people, the master as well as the servant, the elegant lady as well as the female attendant, the seller as well as the buyer, the borrower as well as the lender, the creditor as well as the debtor. The earth will be completely devastated and thoroughly ransacked, for Yahweh has decreed this judgment. The earth dries up and withers, the world shrivels up and withers. The prominent people of the earth fade away. The earth is defiled by its inhabitants, for they have violated laws, disregarded the regulation, and broken the permanent treaty. So a treaty curse devours the earth. Its inhabitants pay for their guilt. This is why the inhabitants of the earth disappear and are reduced to just a handful of people. The new wine dries up. The vines shrivel up. All those who like to celebrate groan. The happy sound of the tambourines stops. The revelry of those who celebrate comes to a halt. The happy sound of the harp ceases. They no longer sing and drink wine. The beer tastes bitter to those who drink it. The ruined town is shattered. All the houses are shut up tight. They howl in the streets because of what happened to the wine. All joy turns to sorrow. Celebrations disappear from the earth. The city is left in ruins. The gate is reduced to rubble. This is what will happen throughout the earth, among the nations. It will be like when they beat an olive tree, and just a few olives are left at the end of the harvest. They lift their voices and shout joyfully. They praise the majesty of Yahweh in the west. So in the east extol Yahweh. Along the seacoasts extol the fame of Yahweh, God of Israel. From the ends of the earth we hear songs. The Just One is majestic. But I say, I'm wasting away. I'm wasting away. I'm doomed. Deceivers deceive. Deceivers thoroughly deceive. Terror, pit, and snare are ready to overtake you, inhabitants of the earth. The one who runs away from the sound of the terror will fall into the pit. The one who climbs out of the pit will be trapped by the snare. For the floodgates of the heavens are opened up, and the foundations of the earth shake. The earth is broken in pieces. The earth is ripped to shreds. The earth shakes violently. The earth will stagger around like a drunk. It will sway back and forth like a hut in a windstorm. Its sin will weigh it down, and it will fall and never get up again. At that time Yahweh will punish the heavenly forces in the heavens and the earthly kings on the earth. They will be imprisoned in a pit, locked up in a prison, and after staying there for a long time, they will be punished. The full moon will be covered up. The bright sun will be darkened. For Yahweh of heaven's armies will rule on Mount Zion in Jerusalem in the presence of his assembly, in majestic splendor. O Yahweh, you are my God. I will exalt you in praise. I will extol your fame. For you have done extraordinary things and executed plans made long ago exactly as you decreed. Indeed, you have made the city into a heap of rubble, the fortified town into a heap of ruins. The fortress of foreigners is no longer a city. It will never be rebuilt. So a strong nation will extol you. The towns of powerful nations will fear you. For you are a protector for the poor, a protector for the needy in their distress, a shelter from the rainstorm, a shade from the heat. Though the breath of tyrants is like a winter rainstorm, like heat in a dry land, you humble the boasting foreigners. Just as the shadow of a cloud causes the heat to subside, so he causes the song of tyrants to cease. Yahweh of heaven's armies will hold a banquet for all the nations on this mountain. At this banquet there will be plenty of meat and aged wine, tender meat and choicest wine. On this mountain he will swallow up the shroud that is over all the peoples, the woven covering that is over all the nations. He will swallow up death permanently. The Lord Yahweh will wipe away the tears from every face and remove his people's disgrace from all the earth. Indeed, Yahweh has announced it. At that time they will say, Look, here is our God. We waited for him, and he delivered us. Here is Yahweh. We waited for him. Let's rejoice and celebrate his deliverance. For Yahweh's power will make this mountain secure. Moab will be trampled down where it stands, as a heap of straw is trampled down in a manure pile. Moab will spread out its hands in the middle of it, just as a swimmer spreads his hands to swim. Yahweh will bring down Moab's pride as it spreads its hands. The fortified city, along with the very tops of your walls, he will knock down. He will bring it down. He will throw it down to the dusty ground. At that time, this song will be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Yahweh's deliverance, like walls and a rampart, makes it secure. Open the gates so a righteous nation can enter, one that remains trustworthy. You keep completely safe the people who maintain their faith, for they trust in you. Trust in Yahweh from this time forward, even in Yahweh, an enduring protector. Indeed, Yahweh knocks down those who live in a high place. He brings down an elevated town. He brings it down to the ground. He throws it down to the dust. It is trampled underfoot by the feet of the oppressed, by the soles of the poor. The way of the righteous is level. The path of the righteous that you prepare is straight. Yes, as your judgments unfold, O Yahweh, we wait for you. We desire your fame and reputation to grow. I look for you during the night. My spirit within me seeks you at dawn. For when your judgments come upon the earth, those who live in the world learn about justice. If the wicked are shown mercy, they do not learn about justice. Even in a land where right is rewarded, they act unjustly. They do not see Yahweh's majesty revealed. O Yahweh, you are ready to act, but they don't even notice. They will see and be put to shame by your angry judgment against humankind. Yes, fire will consume your enemies. O Yahweh, you make us secure, for even all we have accomplished, you have done for us. O Yahweh, our God, masters other than you have ruled us, but we praise your name alone. The dead do not come back to life. The spirits of the dead do not rise. That is because you came in judgment and destroyed them. You wiped out all memory of them. You have made the nation larger, O Yahweh. You have made the nation larger and revealed your splendor. You have extended all the borders of the land. O Yahweh, in distress they looked for you. They uttered incantations because of your discipline. As when a pregnant woman gets ready to deliver and strains and cries out because of her labor pains, so were we because of you, O Yahweh. We were pregnant, we strained, we gave birth, as it were, to wind. We cannot produce deliverance on the earth. No people are born to populate the world. Your dead will come back to life. Your corpses will rise up. Wake up and shout joyfully, you who live in the ground. For you will grow like plants drenched with the morning dew, and the earth will bring forth its dead spirits. Go, my people, enter your inner rooms. Close your doors behind you. Hide for a little while until his angry judgment is over. For look, Yahweh is coming out of the place where he lives to punish the sin of those who live on the earth. The earth will display the blood shed on it. It will no longer cover up its slain. At that time, Yahweh will punish with his destructive, great and powerful sword, Leviathan, the fast-moving serpent, Leviathan, the squirming serpent. He will kill the sea monster. When that time comes, sing about a delightful vineyard. I, Yahweh, protect it. I water it regularly. I guard it night and day, so no one can harm it. I am not angry. I wish I could confront some thorns and briars. Then I would march against them for battle. I would set them all on fire, unless they became my subjects and made peace with me. Let them make peace with me. The time is coming when Jacob will take root. Israel will blossom and grow branches. The produce will fill the surface of the world. Has Yahweh struck down Israel as he did their oppressors? Has Israel been killed like their enemies? When you summon her for divorce, you prosecute her. He drives her away with his strong wind in the day of the east wind. So, in this way, Jacob's sin will be forgiven, and this is how they will show they are finished sinning. They will make all the stones of the altars like crushed limestone, and the Asherah poles and the incense altars will no longer stand. For the fortified city is left alone. It is a deserted settlement and abandoned like the wilderness. Calves graze there. They lie down there and eat its branches bare. When its branches get brittle, they break. Women come and use them for kindling. For these people lack understanding. Therefore, the one who made them has no compassion on them. The one who formed them has no mercy on them. At that time, Yahweh will shake the tree from the Euphrates River to the stream of Egypt. Then you will be gathered up one by one, O Israelites. The splendid crown of Ephraim's drunkards is doomed, the withering flower, its beautiful splendor, situated at the head of a rich valley, the crown of those overcome with wine. Look, Yahweh sends a strong, powerful one. With the force of a hailstorm or a destructive windstorm, with the might of a driving torrential rainstorm, he will knock that crown to the ground with his hand. The splendid crown of Ephraim's drunkards will be trampled underfoot. The withering flower, its beautiful splendor, situated at the head of a rich valley, will be like an early fig before harvest. As soon as someone notices it, he grabs it and swallows it. At that time, Yahweh of heaven's armies will become a beautiful crown and a splendid diadem for the remnant of his people. He will give discernment to the one who makes judicial decisions and strength to those who defend the city from attackers. Even these men stagger because of wine. They stumble around because of beer. Priests and prophets stagger because of beer. They are confused because of wine. They stumble around because of beer. They stagger while seeing prophetic visions. They totter while making legal decisions. Indeed, all the tables are covered with vomit, with filth, leaving no clean place. Who is Yahweh trying to teach? To whom is he explaining a message? To those just weaned from milk? To those just taken from their mother's breast? Indeed, they will hear meaningless gibberish, senseless babbling, a syllable here, a syllable there. For with mocking lips and a foreign tongue he will speak to these people. In the past he said to them, "This is where security can be found." Provide security for the one who is exhausted. This is where rest can be found, but they refused to listen. So Yahweh's message to them will sound like meaningless gibberish, senseless babbling, a syllable here, a syllable there. As a result, they will fall on their backsides when they try to walk, and be injured, ensnared, and captured. Therefore, listen to Yahweh's message. You who mock, you rulers of these people who reside in Jerusalem. For you say, "We have made a treaty with death, with Sheol we have made an agreement." When the overwhelming judgment sweeps by, it will not reach us. For we have made a lie our refuge, we have hidden ourselves in a deceitful word. Therefore, this is what Lord Yahweh says, "Look, I am laying a stone in Zion, an approved stone, set in place as a precious cornerstone for the foundation. The one who maintains his faith will not panic. I will make justice the measuring line, fairness the plumb line. Hail will sweep away the unreliable refuge. The floodwaters will overwhelm the hiding place. Your treaty with death will be dissolved. Your agreement with Sheol will not last. When the overwhelming judgment sweeps by, you will be overrun by it. Whenever it sweeps by, it will overtake you. Indeed, every morning it will sweep by, it will come through during the day and the night. When this announcement is understood, it will cause nothing but terror. For the bed is too short to stretch out on, and the blanket is too narrow to wrap around oneself. For Yahweh will rise up, as he did at Mount Perazim. He will rouse himself, as he did in the valley of Gibeon, to accomplish his work, his peculiar work, to perform his task, his strange task. So now, do not mock, or your chains will become heavier. For I have heard a message about decreed destruction from Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies against the entire land. Pay attention and listen to my message. Be attentive and listen to what I have to say. Does a farmer just keep on plowing at planting time? Does he keep breaking up and harrowing his ground? Once he has leveled its surface, does he not scatter the seed of the caraway plant, sow the seed of the cumin plant, and plant the wheat, barley, and grain in their designated places? His God instructs him. He teaches him the principles of agriculture. Certainly caraway seed is not threshed with a sledge, nor is the wheel of a cart rolled over cumin seed. Certainly caraway seed is beaten with a stick, and cumin seed with a flail. Grain is crushed, though one certainly does not thresh it forever. The wheel of one's wagon rolls over it, but his horses do not crush it. This also comes from Yahweh of heaven's armies, who gives supernatural guidance and imparts great wisdom. Ariel is as good as dead. Ariel, the town David besieged. Keep observing your annual rituals. Celebrate your festivals on schedule. I will threaten Ariel, and she will mourn intensely and become like an altar hearth before me. I will lay siege to you on all sides. I will besiege you with troops. I will raise siege works against you. You will fall. While lying on the ground you will speak. From the dust where you lie, your words will be heard. Your voice will sound like a spirit speaking from the underworld. From the dust you will chirp, as if muttering an incantation. But the horde of invaders will be like fine dust, the horde of tyrants like chaff that is blown away. It will happen suddenly, in a flash. Judgment will come from Yahweh of heaven's armies, accompanied by thunder, earthquake, and a loud noise, by a strong gale, a windstorm, and a consuming flame of fire. It will be like a dream, a night vision. There will be a horde from all the nations that fight against Ariel, those who attack her and her stronghold and besiege her. It will be like a hungry man dreaming that he is eating, only to awaken and find that his stomach is empty. It will be like a thirsty man dreaming that he is drinking, only to awaken and find that he is still weak and his thirst unquenched. So it will be for the horde from all the nations that fight against Mount Zion. You will be shocked and amazed. You are totally blind. They are drunk, but not because of wine. They stagger, but not because of beer. For Yahweh has poured out on you a strong urge to sleep deeply. He has shut your eyes, you prophets, and covered your heads, you seers. To you, this entire prophetic revelation is like words in a sealed scroll. When they hand it to one who can read and say, "Read this," he responds, "I can't because it is sealed." Or when they hand the scroll to one who can't read and say, "Read this," he says, "I can't read." Yahweh says, "These people say they are loyal to me. They say wonderful things about me, but they are not really loyal to me. Their worship consists of nothing but man-made ritual. Therefore, I will again do an amazing thing for these people, an absolutely extraordinary deed. Wise men will have nothing to say. The sages will have no explanations. Those who try to hide their plans from Yahweh are as good as dead, who do their work in secret and boast. Who sees us? Who knows what we're doing? Your thinking is perverse. Should the potter be regarded as clay? Should the thing made say about its maker, "He didn't make me"? Or should the pottery say about the potter, "He doesn't understand"? In just a very short time, Lebanon will turn into an orchard, and the orchard will be considered a forest. At that time, the deaf will be able to hear words read from a scroll, and the eyes of the blind will be able to see through deep darkness. The downtrodden will again rejoice in Yahweh. The poor among humankind will take delight in the Holy One of Israel. For tyrants will disappear, those who taunt will vanish, and all those who love to do wrong will be eliminated. Those who bear false testimony against a person, who entrap the one who arbitrates at the city gate and deprive the innocent of justice by making false charges. So this is what Yahweh, the one who delivered Abraham, has said to the family of Jacob. Jacob will no longer be ashamed. Their faces will no longer show their embarrassment. For when they see their children, whom I will produce among them, they will honor my name. They will honor the Holy One of Jacob. They will respect the God of Israel. Those who stray morally will gain understanding. Those who complain will acquire insight. The rebellious children are as good as dead, says Yahweh. Those who make plans without consulting me, who form alliances without consulting my spirit, and thereby compound their sin. They travel down to Egypt without seeking my will, seeking Pharaoh's protection, and looking for safety in Egypt's protective shade. But Pharaoh's protection will bring you nothing but shame, and the safety of Egypt's protective shade nothing but humiliation. Though his officials are in Zoan and his messengers arrive at Hanes, All will be put to shame because of a nation that cannot help them, who cannot give them aid or help, but only shame and disgrace. This is an oracle about the animals in the Negev. Through a land of distress and danger, inhabited by lionesses and roaring lions, by snakes and darting adders, they transport their wealth on the backs of donkeys, their riches on the humps of camels, to a nation that cannot help them. Egypt is totally incapable of helping. For this reason, I call her Proud One who is silenced. Now go, write it down on a tablet in their presence, inscribe it on a scroll, so that it might be preserved for a future time as an enduring witness. For these are rebellious people. They are lying children, children unwilling to obey Yahweh's law. They say to the visionaries, "See no more visions," and to the seers, "Don't relate messages to us about what is right. Tell us nice things, relate deceptive messages. Turn aside from the way, stray off the path. Remove from our presence the Holy One of Israel." For this reason, this is what the Holy One of Israel says. You have rejected this message. You trust instead in your ability to oppress and trick and rely on that kind of behavior. So this sin will become your downfall. You will be like a high wall that bulges and cracks and is ready to collapse. It crumbles suddenly in a flash. It shatters in pieces like a clay jar, so shattered to bits that none of it can be salvaged. Among its fragments one cannot find a shard large enough to scoop a hot coal from a fire or to skim off water from a cistern. For this is what Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, says. If you repented and patiently waited for me, you would be delivered. If you calmly trusted in me, you would find strength, but you are unwilling. You say, "No, we will flee on horses," so you will indeed flee. You say, "We will ride on fast horses," so your pursuers will be fast. 1,000 will scurry at the battle cry of one enemy soldier. At the battle cry of 5 enemy soldiers, you will all run away until the remaining few are as isolated as a flagpole on a mountaintop or a signal flag on a hill. For this reason, Yahweh is ready to show you mercy. He sits on his throne, ready to have compassion on you. Indeed, Yahweh is a just God. All who wait for him in faith will be blessed. For people will live in Zion. In Jerusalem you will weep no more. When he hears your cry of despair, he will indeed show you mercy. When he hears it, he will respond to you. Yahweh will give you distress to eat and suffering to drink, but your teachers will no longer be hidden. Your eyes will see them. You will hear a word spoken behind you saying, "This is the correct way. Walk in it, whether you are heading to the right or the left. You will desecrate your silver-plated idols and your gold-plated images. You will throw them away as if they were a menstrual rag, saying to them, 'Get out.' He will water the seed you plant in the ground, and the ground will produce crops in abundance. At that time, your cattle will graze in wide pastures. The oxen and donkeys used in plowing will eat seasoned feed, winnowed with a shovel and pitchfork. On every high mountain and every high hill there will be streams flowing with water, at the time of great slaughter when the fortified towers collapse. The light of the full moon will be like the sun's glare, and the sun's glare will be 7 times brighter, like the light of 7 days, when Yahweh binds up his people's fractured bones and heals their severe wound. Look, the name of Yahweh comes from a distant place in raging anger and awesome splendor. He speaks angrily, and his word is like destructive fire. His battle cry overwhelms like a flooding river that reaches one's neck. He shakes the nations in a sieve that isolates the chaff. He puts a bit into the mouth of the nations and leads them to destruction. You will sing as you do in the evening when you are celebrating a festival. You will be happy like one who plays a flute as he goes to the mountain of Yahweh, the rock who shelters Israel. Yahweh will give a mighty shout and intervene in power, with furious anger and flaming, destructive fire, with a driving rainstorm and hailstones. Indeed, Yahweh's shout will shatter Assyria. He will beat them with a club. Every blow from his punishing cudgel with which Yahweh will beat them will be accompanied by music from the tambourine and harp, and he will attack them with his weapons. For the burial place is already prepared. It has been made deep and wide for the king. The firewood is piled high on it. Yahweh's breath, like a stream flowing with brimstone, will ignite it. Those who go down to Egypt for help are as good as dead. Those who rely on war horses and trust in Egypt's many chariots and in their many, many horsemen. But they do not rely on the Holy One of Israel and do not seek help from Yahweh. Yet he too is wise, and he will bring disaster. He does not retract his decree. He will attack the wicked nation, and the nation that helps those who commit sin. The Egyptians are mere humans, not God. Their horses are made of flesh, not spirit. Yahweh will strike with his hand. The one who helps will stumble, and the one being helped will fall. Together they will perish. Indeed, this is what Yahweh has said to me. Yahweh will be like a growling lion, like a young lion growling over its prey. Though a whole group of shepherds gathers against it, it is not afraid of their shouts or intimidated by their yelling. In this same way, Yahweh of heaven's armies will descend to do battle on Mount Zion and on its hill. Just as birds hover over a nest, so Yahweh of heaven's armies will protect Jerusalem. He will protect and deliver it. As he passes over, he will rescue it. You Israelites, return to the one you have so blatantly rebelled against, for at that time everyone will get rid of the silver and gold idols your hands sinfully made. Assyria will fall by a sword, but not one human-made. A sword not made by humankind will destroy them. They will run away from this sword, and their young men will be forced to do hard labor. They will surrender their stronghold because of fear. Their officers will be afraid of Yahweh's battle flag. This is what Yahweh says, the one whose fire is in Zion, whose fire pot is in Jerusalem. Look, a king will promote fairness, officials will promote justice. Each of them will be like a shelter from the wind and a refuge from a rainstorm, like streams of water in a dry region and like the shade of a large cliff in a parched land. Eyes will no longer be blind, and ears will be attentive. The mind that acts rashly will possess discernment, and the tongue that stutters will speak with ease and clarity. A fool will no longer be called honorable. A deceiver will no longer be called principled. For a fool speaks disgraceful things. His mind plans out sinful deeds. He commits godless deeds and says misleading things about Yahweh. He gives the hungry nothing to satisfy their appetite and gives the thirsty nothing to drink. A deceiver's methods are evil. He dreams up evil plans to ruin the poor with lies, even when the needy are in the right. An honorable man makes honorable plans. His honorable character gives him security. You complacent women, get up and listen to me. You carefree daughters, pay attention to what I say. In a year's time, you carefree ones will shake with fear, for the grape harvest will fail, and the fruit harvest will not arrive. Tremble, you complacent ones. Shake with fear, you carefree ones. Strip off your clothes and expose yourselves. Put sackcloth around your waists. Mourn over the field, over the delightful fields and the fruitful vine. Mourn over the land of my people, which is overgrown with thorns and briars, and over all the once happy houses in the city filled with revelry. For the fortress is neglected, the once crowded city is abandoned. Hill and watchtower are permanently uninhabited. Wild donkeys love to go there, and flocks graze there. This desolation will continue until new life is poured out on us from heaven. Then the wilderness will become an orchard, and the orchard will be considered a forest. Justice will settle down in the wilderness, and fairness will live in the orchard. Fairness will produce peace and result in lasting security. My people will live in peaceful settlements, in secure homes, and in safe, quiet places. Even if the forest is destroyed and the city is annihilated, you will be blessed. You who plant seed by all the banks of the streams. You who let your ox and donkey graze. The destroyer is as good as dead. You who have not been destroyed. The deceitful one is as good as dead, the one whom others have not deceived. When you are through destroying, you will be destroyed. When you finish deceiving, others will deceive you. Yahweh, be merciful to us. We wait for you. Give us strength each morning. Deliver us when distress comes. The nations run away when they hear a loud noise. The nations scatter when you spring into action. Your plunder disappears as if locusts were eating it. They swarm over it like locusts. Yahweh is exalted. Indeed, he lives in heaven. He fills Zion with justice and fairness. He is your constant source of stability. He abundantly provides safety and great wisdom. He gives all this to those who fear him. Look, ambassadors cry out in the streets. Messengers sent to make peace weep bitterly. Highways are empty. There are no travelers. Treaties are broken. Witnesses are despised. Human life is treated with disrespect. The land dries up and withers away. The forest of Lebanon shrivels up and decays. Sharon is like the arid Rift Valley. Bashan and Carmel are parched. Now I will rise up, says Yahweh. Now I will exalt myself. Now I will magnify myself. You conceive straw. You give birth to chaff. Your breath is a fire that destroys you. The nations will be burned to ashes. Like thorn bushes that have been cut down, they will be set on fire. You who are far away, listen to what I have done. You who are close by, recognize my strength. Sinners are afraid in Zion. Panic grips the godless. They say, "Who among us can coexist with destructive fire? Who among us can coexist with unquenchable fire? The one who lives uprightly and speaks honestly, the one who refuses to profit from oppressive measures and rejects a bribe, the one who does not plot violent crimes and does not seek to harm others. This is the person who will live in a secure place. He will find safety in the rocky mountain strongholds. He will have food and a constant supply of water. You will see a king in his splendor. You will see a wide land. Your mind will recall the terror you experienced, and you will ask yourselves, where is the scribe? Where is the one who weighs the money? Where is the one who counts the towers? You will no longer see a defiant people whose language you do not comprehend, whose derisive speech you do not understand. Look at Zion, the city where we hold religious festivals. You will see Jerusalem, a peaceful settlement, a tent that stays put. Its stakes will never be pulled up. None of its ropes will snap in two. Instead, Yahweh will rule there as our mighty king. Rivers and wide streams will flow through it. No war galley will enter. No large ships will sail through. For Yahweh, our ruler, Yahweh, our commander, Yahweh, our king, he will deliver us. Though at this time your ropes are slack, the mast is not secured, and the sail is not unfurled, at that time you will divide up a great quantity of loot. Even the lame will drag off plunder. No resident of Zion will say, "I am ill." The people who live there will have their sin forgiven. Come near, you nations, and listen. Pay attention, you people. The earth and everything it contains must listen, the world and everything that lives in it. For Yahweh is angry at all the nations and furious with all their armies. He will annihilate them and slaughter them. Their slain will be left unburied, their corpses will stink, the hills will soak up their blood. All the stars in the sky will fade away, the sky will roll up like a scroll, all its stars will wither, like a leaf withers and falls from a vine, or a fig withers and falls from a tree. He says, Indeed, my sword has slaughtered heavenly powers. Look, it now descends on Edom, on the people I will annihilate in judgment. Yahweh's sword is dripping with blood, it is covered with fat. It drips with the blood of young rams and goats, and is covered with the fat of rams' kidneys. For Yahweh is holding a sacrifice in Bozrah, a bloody slaughter in the land of Edom. Wild oxen will be slaughtered along with them, as well as strong bulls. Their land is drenched with blood, their soil is covered with fat. For Yahweh has planned a day of revenge, a time when he will repay Edom for her hostility toward Zion. Edom's streams will be turned into pitch and her soil into brimstone. Her land will become burning pitch. Night and day it will burn. Its smoke will ascend continually. Generation after generation, it will be a wasteland, and no one will ever pass through it again. Owls and wild animals will live there. All kinds of wild birds will settle in it. Yahweh will stretch out over her the measuring line of ruin and the plumb line of destruction. Her nobles will have nothing left to call a kingdom, and all her officials will disappear. Her fortresses will be overgrown with thorns. Thickets and weeds will grow in her fortified cities. Jackals will settle there. Ostriches will live there. Wild animals and wild dogs will congregate there. Wild goats will bleat to one another. Yes, nocturnal animals will rest there and make for themselves a nest. Owls will make nests and lay eggs there. They will hatch them and protect them. Yes, hawks will gather there, each with its mate. Carefully read the scroll of Yahweh. Not one of these creatures will be missing. None will lack a mate. For Yahweh has issued the decree, and his own spirit gathers them. He assigns them their allotment. He measures out their assigned place. They will live there permanently. They will settle in it through successive generations. Let the wilderness and desert be happy. Let the arid rift valley rejoice and bloom like a lily. Let it richly bloom. Let it rejoice and shout with delight. It is given the grandeur of Lebanon, the splendor of Carmel and Sharon. They will see the grandeur of Yahweh, the splendor of our God. Strengthen the hands that have gone limp, steady the knees that shake. Tell those who panic, be strong, do not fear. Look, your God comes to avenge. With divine retribution, he comes to deliver you. Then blind eyes will open, deaf ears will hear. Then the lame will leap like a deer, the mute tongue will shout for joy, for water will burst forth in the wilderness, streams in the arid rift valley. The dry soil will become a pool of water, the parched ground, springs of water. Where jackals once lived and sprawled out, grass, reeds, and papyrus will grow. A thoroughfare will be there. It will be called the Way of Holiness. The unclean will not travel on it. It is reserved for those authorized to use it. Fools will not stray into it. No lions will be there. No ferocious wild animals will be on it. They will not be found there. Those delivered from bondage will travel on it. Those whom Yahweh has ransomed will return that way. They will enter Zion with a happy shout. Unending joy will crown them. Happiness and joy will overwhelm them. Grief and suffering will disappear. In the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, King Sennacherib of Assyria marched up against all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them. The king of Assyria sent his chief advisor from Lachish to King Hezekiah in Jerusalem, along with a large army. The chief advisor stood at the conduit of the upper pool that is located on the road to the field where they wash and dry cloth. Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, the palace supervisor, accompanied by Shebna the scribe and Joah, son of Asaph, the secretary, went out to meet him. The chief advisor said to them, "Tell Hezekiah, this is what the great king, the king of Assyria, says. What is your source of confidence? Your claim to have a strategy and military strength is just empty talk. In whom are you trusting, that you would dare to rebel against me? Look, you must be trusting in Egypt, that splintered reed staff. If someone leans on it for support, it punctures his hand and wounds him. That is what Pharaoh, king of Egypt, does to all who trust in him. Perhaps you will tell me, we are trusting in Yahweh, our God." But Hezekiah is the one who eliminated his high places and altars, and then told the people of Judah and Jerusalem, "You must worship at this altar. Now make a deal with my master, the king of Assyria, and I will give you 2,000 horses, provided you can find enough riders for them. Certainly you will not refuse one of my master's minor officials, and trust in Egypt for chariots and horsemen. Furthermore, it was by the command of Yahweh that I marched up against this land to destroy it. Yahweh told me, march up against this land and destroy it." Eliakim, Shebna, and Joah said to the chief advisor, "Speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it. Don't speak with us in the Judahite dialect in the hearing of the people who are on the wall." But the chief advisor said, "My master did not send me to speak these words only to your master and to you. His message is also for the men who sit on the wall, for they will eat their own excrement and drink their own urine along with you." The chief advisor then stood there and called out loudly in the Judahite dialect, "Listen to the message of the great king, the king of Assyria. This is what the king says. Don't let Hezekiah mislead you, for he is not able to rescue you. Don't let Hezekiah talk you into trusting in Yahweh by saying, 'Yahweh will certainly rescue us.' This city will not be handed over to the king of Assyria. Don't listen to Hezekiah, for this is what the king of Assyria says. Send me a token of your submission and surrender to me. Then each of you may eat from his own vine and fig tree and drink water from his own cistern, until I come and take you to a land just like your own, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards." Hezekiah is misleading you when he says, "Yahweh will rescue us." Have any of the gods of the nations rescued their lands from the power of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Indeed, did any gods rescue Samaria from my power? Who among all the gods of these lands have rescued their lands from my power? So how can Yahweh rescue Jerusalem from my power?" They were silent and did not respond, for the king had ordered, "Don't respond to him." Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, the palace supervisor, accompanied by Shebna the scribe, and Joah son of Asaph, the secretary, went to Hezekiah with their clothes torn and reported to him what the chief advisor had said. When King Hezekiah heard this, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and went to Yahweh's temple. Eliakim, the palace supervisor, Shebna the scribe, and the leading priests, clothed in sackcloth, sent this message to the prophet Isaiah son of Amoz. "This is what Hezekiah says. This is a day of distress, insults, and humiliation, as when a baby is ready to leave the birth canal, but the mother lacks the strength to push it through. Perhaps Yahweh your God will hear all these things the chief advisor has spoken on behalf of his master, the king of Assyria, who sent him to taunt the living God. When Yahweh your God hears, perhaps he will punish him for the things he has said. So pray for this remnant that remains." When King Hezekiah's servants came to Isaiah, Isaiah said to them, "Tell your master this. This is what Yahweh has said. Don't be afraid because of the things you have heard, these insults the king of Assyria's servants have hurled against me. Look, I will take control of his mind. He will receive a report and return to his own land. I will cut him down with a sword in his own land." When the chief advisor heard the king of Assyria had departed from Lachish, he left and went to Libnah, where the king was campaigning. The king heard that King Tirhakah of Ethiopia was marching out to fight him. He again sent messengers to Hezekiah, ordering them, "Tell King Hezekiah of Judah this. Don't let your God in whom you trust mislead you when he says, 'Jerusalem will not be handed over to the king of Assyria.' Certainly you have heard how the kings of Assyria have annihilated all lands. Do you really think you will be rescued? Were the nations whom my predecessors destroyed, the nations of Gozan, Haran, Rezeph, and the people of Eden in Telassar, rescued by their gods? Where is the king of Hamath, or the king of Arpad, or the kings of Lair, Sepharvaim, Hena, and Ivah?" Hezekiah took the letter from the messengers and read it. Then Hezekiah went up to Yahweh's temple and spread it out before Yahweh. Hezekiah prayed before Yahweh, "Yahweh of heaven's armies, O God of Israel, who is enthroned on the cherubim. You alone are God over all the kingdoms of the earth. You made the sky and the earth. Pay attention, Yahweh, and hear. Open your eyes, Yahweh, and observe. Listen to this entire message Sennacherib sent and how he taunts the living God. It is true, Yahweh, that the kings of Assyria have destroyed all the nations and their lands. They have burned the gods of the nations, for they are not really gods, but only the product of human hands manufactured from wood and stone. That is why the Assyrians could destroy them. Now, Yahweh our God, rescue us from his power, so all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone are Yahweh." Isaiah, son of Amoz, sent this message to Hezekiah. "This is what Yahweh God of Israel has said. As to what you have prayed to me concerning King Sennacherib of Assyria, this is what Yahweh says about him. The virgin daughter Zion despises you, she makes fun of you. Daughter Jerusalem shakes her head after you. Whom have you taunted and hurled insults at? At whom have you shouted and looked so arrogantly? At the Holy One of Israel. Through your messengers you taunted Yahweh. With my many chariots I climbed up the high mountains, the slopes of Lebanon. I cut down its tall cedars and its best evergreens. I invaded its remotest regions, its thickest woods. I dug wells and drank water. With the soles of my feet, I dried up all the rivers of Egypt. Certainly you must have heard. Long ago I worked it out, in ancient times I planned it, and now I am bringing it to pass. The plan is this. Fortified cities will crash into heaps of ruins. Their residents are powerless. They are terrified and ashamed. They are as short-lived as plants in the field or green vegetation. They are as short-lived as grass on the rooftops when it is scorched by the east wind. I know where you live and everything you do and how you rage against me. Because you rage against me and the uproar you create has reached my ears, I will put my hook in your nose and my bit between your lips, and I will lead you back the way you came. This will be your reminder that I have spoken the truth. This year you will eat what grows wild, and next year what grows on its own. But the year after that you will plant seed and harvest crops. You will plant vines and consume their produce. Those who remain in Judah will take root in the ground and bear fruit. For a remnant will leave Jerusalem. Survivors will come out of Mount Zion. The zeal of Yahweh of heaven's armies will accomplish this. So this is what Yahweh says about the king of Assyria. He will not enter this city, nor will he shoot an arrow here. He will not attack it with his shielded warriors, nor will he build siege works against it. He will go back the way he came. He will not enter this city, says Yahweh. I will shield this city and rescue it for the sake of my reputation, and because of my promise to David, my servant. The angel of Yahweh went out and killed 185,000 troops in the Assyrian camp. When they got up early the next morning, there were all the corpses. So King Sennacherib of Assyria broke camp and went on his way. He went home and stayed in Nineveh. One day, as he was worshipping in the temple of his god Nisroch, his sons Adramelech and Sharezer struck him down with the sword. They ran away to the land of Ararat. His son Esarhaddon replaced him as king. In those days, Hezekiah was stricken with a terminal illness. The prophet Isaiah, son of Amoz, visited him and told him, "This is what Yahweh says. Give instructions to your household, for you are about to die. You will not get well." Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed to Yahweh, "Please, Yahweh, remember how I have served you faithfully and with wholehearted devotion, and how I have carried out your will." Then Hezekiah wept bitterly. Yahweh's message came to Isaiah. "Go and tell Hezekiah, this is what Yahweh, God of your ancestor David, says. I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. Look, I will add 15 years to your life. I will also rescue you and this city from the king of Assyria. I will shield this city." Isaiah replied, "This is your sign from Yahweh, confirming that Yahweh will do what he has said. Look, I will make the shadow go back 10 steps on the stairs of Ahaz." And then the shadow went back 10 steps. This is the prayer of King Hezekiah of Judah when he was sick and then recovered from his illness. "I thought, in the middle of my life I must walk through the gates of Sheol. I am deprived of the rest of my years. I thought, I will no longer see Yahweh in the land of the living. I will no longer look on humankind with the inhabitants of the world. My dwelling place is removed and taken away from me as a shepherd's tent. I rolled up my life like a weaver rolls cloth. From the loom he cuts me off. You turn day into night and end my life. I cry out until morning. Like a lion he shatters all my bones. You turn day into night and end my life. Like a swallow or a thrush I chirp. I coo like a dove. My eyes grow tired from looking up to the sky. O Yahweh, I am oppressed. Help me. What can I say? He has decreed and acted. I will walk slowly all my years because I am overcome with grief. O Yahweh, your decrees can give men life. May years of life be restored to me. Restore my health and preserve my life. Look, the grief I experienced was for my benefit. You delivered me from the pit of oblivion. For you removed all my sins from your sight. Indeed, Sheol does not give you thanks. Death does not praise you. Those who descend into the pit do not anticipate your faithfulness. The living person, he gives you thanks as I do today. A father tells his sons about your faithfulness. Yahweh is about to deliver me, and we will celebrate with music for the rest of our lives in Yahweh's temple. Isaiah ordered, "Let them take a fig cake and apply it to the ulcerated sore, and he will get well." Hezekiah said, "What is the confirming sign that I will go up to Yahweh's temple?" At that time, Merodach-Baladan, son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a gift to Hezekiah, for he heard that Hezekiah had been ill and had recovered. Hezekiah welcomed them and showed them his storehouse with its silver, gold, spices, and high-quality olive oil, as well as his whole armory and everything in his treasuries. Hezekiah showed them everything in his palace and in his whole kingdom. Isaiah the prophet visited King Hezekiah and asked him, "What did these men say? Where do they come from?" Hezekiah replied, "They come from the distant land of Babylon." Isaiah asked, "What have they seen in your palace?" Hezekiah replied, "They have seen everything in my palace." I showed them everything in my treasuries. Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Listen to the message of Yahweh of heaven's armies. Look, a time is coming when everything in your palace and the things your ancestors have accumulated to this day will be carried away to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says Yahweh. Some of your very own descendants whom you father will be taken away and will be made eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon." Hezekiah said to Isaiah, "Yahweh's message that you have announced is appropriate." Then he thought, "For there will be peace and stability during my lifetime,